Hey, this is Sue, and today we're going to do a video about using the product rule. So far, we've learned how to take some derivatives. So, for example, you know how to take the derivative of something like x squared using the power rule. You know how to take the derivative of sine x. We learned that that was cosine of x. What we haven't yet done is learn how to do a lot of combinations. For example, what if you wanted to take the derivative of the product of these functions? And we do not know how to do that right now. So that's the point of today's video, is how do you do that? So in your notes, the formula we're going to use is for the product rule. And it says that if you're taking the derivative of a product, all right, you have two factors, f of x and g of x. The rule says that the derivative is going to be the first function times the derivative of the second, plus the second function times the derivative of the first. So this is actually pretty easy to use. So if we try our example, you have to identify your two factors, which is pretty straightforward in this case. So for example, this will be f, and this will be g. Some of them are harder, but they're pretty straightforward. You're also going to need to take the derivatives, so you need to make sure you know how to take the derivative of each. This one's pretty easy. When they're complicated, you may want to put that over on the side. So for example, f prime is going to be 2x, g prime is going to be cosine x, if you need to refer back to that. But then you just do the rule. So the derivative of a product is the first function, x squared, times the derivative of the second, plus the second function times the derivative of the first. And that's it. You can clean it up a little bit. We're going to do another example. So if you go down to example 2, you're being asked to find the derivative of a sum, which is no big deal. And you have 4 times sine r and r times cosine r. So my first question is, do you need to use the product rule for each of these? And the answer is no. Why don't you need to use the product rule for 4 times sine r? Because the 4 is a constant factor. So when we take the derivative of 4 times sine r, our derivative is just the constant factor times the derivative of sine. So that's cosine r. But for the second part, we are going to need to use the product rule. And that's okay. This one's also pretty straightforward. F of x is just going to be r, and g of x is just going to be cosine. And again, on the sides, f prime is going to be 1, and the derivative of cosine r is negative sine r. So when we put this together, the derivative is going to be the first function times the derivative of the second function plus the second function times the derivative of the first function. Okay, let's clean it up a little bit. If you'd like one more example to try this one. Pause it and unpause when you're done. Here's the solution to the problem. Check and see if your answer is equivalent to this answer. If you'd like to see the steps, this is how you do it. This function is f. This function is g. Here's f prime. Here's g prime. And then here's the product rule.